Well, hello and welcome to the ACU Psychology Q&A session here at the Melbourne campus. My name is Professor John Gleeson. I'm the Head of Psychology at ACU and the Director here of the Healthy Brain and Mind Centre, and I'm going to be your host here for this morning. I'd also like to introduce you to our presenters. First of all, Dr. Helen Orcott is the National Course Coordinator, is a Senior Lecturer here at ACU and the National Course Coordinator of our psychology programs. And we're also joined this morning by some of our wonderful former students. I'd like to introduce Deanie Thompson. Now, Deanie is currently completing her honours degree in psychology at ACU's Melbourne campus. She completed her Bachelor of Psychological Science in 2019 at ACU as well. Deanie has been actively involved also in the Healthy Brain and Mind Research Centre as a research assistant. She spent over a year supporting the Neuroscience of Addiction and Mental Health program and helped set up research projects at ACU, at the University of Wollongong and University College London. Deanie's a high achieving student, has been awarded multiple scholarships and recognition for her academic performance. She was awarded the University Medal for the Faculty of Health Sciences when she graduated from her bachelor's degree in 2019. So welcome, Deanie. Thank you for joining us. And I'd also like to introduce Olivia Donati. So Olivia came to psychology in her late 20s following a career change from marketing and PR. She completed her Bachelor of Psychological Science with honours at ACU last year. She's undertaken professional and volunteer experience at a range of organisations, including Eating Disorders Victoria, the AFL, Brotherhood of St Lawrence, Save the Children and others. Following the completion of her honours year in psychology, she stepped into a contract role at the AFL as a wellbeing coordinator. She's currently taking a break from study and work as she just gave birth to her second child 6 weeks ago. So we're very privileged to have her join us this morning, and she's hoping to return to ACU to complete a Master of Psychology in Clinical Psychology in the coming years. So thank you again, everyone, for taking time to join us this morning. We hope that you've had a chance to view the video regarding our undergraduate psychology degrees before today's session, but if you haven't, I've just posted the link back to the Open Day page so you can return to have a look at the video after today's session. So just a couple of housekeeping issues regarding how we'll run the session. This is a Q&A session, so we welcome your sessions into the Q&A feed, and I'll be fielding as many questions as I can. Please keep them brief, and we're really looking for questions regarding our undergraduate psychology programs this morning. And so at this stage, I'm going to hand over to Helen, who's going to get us underway. Thanks, Helen.
Okay, thank you, John. So welcome everyone. While we're waiting for questions to come in from you, the audience, I'll just give some general questions to the students just to start off with. So I'm going to start with asking what the experiences were at ACU, so what their overall impressions were. So I'll start with you, Deanie. What was your overall impression of being a student at ACU?
Thanks, Ellen. Pardon me, I really liked studying at ACU during my bachelor's degree, and it's why I really wanted to stay on for my honours degree. I came from quite a large high school, I guess, 1,500 students, and I was just looking for a bit of a downsize. And also going into psychology, if you want to be a psychologist, I guess it's a bit of an intimate profession. You know, you have that really close relationship with a psychologist. So what I was looking for was that mimicked in my university experience. And I don't plan to go down the clinical path anymore. I'm more focused on research, but I really, really benefited from having, you know, a close environment, a small-ish cohort, a small department around me, and I got to know everyone, and I just felt overall really, really well supported, and I still do during my honours degree.
Okay, thank you very much, Deanie. So, Olivia, I'll put the same question to you. So what were your overall impressions of being a student at ACU?
I feel quite similarly to Dinny in that I felt incredibly well supported. I had a really fantastic relationship with all of the staff that I came across, and there was always help on hand. I never felt like I was alone. Subjects that I was maybe a bit more sort of frightened about or didn't feel that I would be that strong in, I ended up doing incredibly well in because I did have that support and felt like I had the guidance. An example of that is statistics. So it was something that I suppose I went into it feeling quite anxious about it because, everyone says it's incredibly hard, and I'd sort of already had that assumption, but it ended up being something that I did well in because I did have additional support from staff who were teaching the course, and the materials presented to us are all, really fantastic. The online systems work really well. There's always, because it isn't a large, a really large university and the cohort isn't that large, you do get that extra level of support, and all of the other amenities available to you, like the library, tech support, everything on campus, is catering to a much smaller cohort. So it ends up working in your favour. Like the books are always available to borrow from the library, things like that. So I felt very well supported. I felt like it gave me the best opportunity to excel and to overcome any challenges that came my way. And one other benefit is that you become really close with other people in your cohort. So in my previous degree, I'd studied at RMIT University, PR straight out of uni, and it was just a much larger course. And I felt like I didn't have that connection to other people, and which I definitely got when I was at ACU.
Great, thank you so much, Olivia, and Didi for answering those questions. So we've got some questions coming in on the Q&A. So one of the questions is, what is the difference between psychological science and the Bachelor of Arts? So as course coordinator, I'll answer that question. So we've got a lot of undergraduate psychology degrees that are APAC accredited. So if you're wanting to go on and being a psychologist, you need to enrol in an APAC accredited undergraduate course. The ones that we're offering is the Bachelor of Psychological Science, and then we've got double degrees with the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Commerce, and the Bachelor of Exercise Science, Bachelor of Laws. We also have another degree, the Bachelor of Psychology Honours. So should you be studying, which of these courses should you be studying? The double degrees are ideal for people that might not be, have made up their mind about which career path they want to go down, so they want to leave their options open. So studying the Bachelor of Psychological Science along with the Bachelor of Arts opens up the opportunities for different paths you can go. It's basically getting 2 degrees, so 2 degrees which would normally take you 6 years, in a much shorter period of time. So you can get those 2 degrees, the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of Psychology, in a 4-year period. So hopefully that answers your question regarding the difference between the Bachelor of Psychological Science and the Bachelor and the double degree with Arts. So it's a longer course, so 1 year longer, and it opens up more opportunities to you. I'll just move on to the next question. Are there opportunities to work as a RA in a lab while studying as an honours or master's student? Yes, there definitely is opportunities. Dinny, can I throw this to you to talk about your experiences at ACU working as working in these labs?
Yeah, for sure. So I was in second semester of my second year of my Bachelor of Psychological Science when one of my lecturers just said, look, I've got an opportunity for a student to join my team and just support us with some data entry and also looking at brain images to just check that they were suitable for analyses later on. And so I joined then, and the thing about, I guess, ACU Psych Department is that it's very close. So I was, working within the department. I'd sit in there for, a few hours and do my thing and everything's happening around me, and you get great exposure to not only the people but also the other research that happens. I also really enjoy getting to improve my skills. So I had a good relationship with my, I guess, the supervisor at the time, and I'm now doing my honours thesis with her. And what she, really encouraged me to do was just say yes to new opportunities. So I started off doing, data entry and just checking brain images, and then I progressed into actually helping set up surveys for surveys and activities and tasks for not only a PhD project that was happening at ACU, but also a master's project that was happening in the University College London. So I was having Skype calls at, some crazy times to talk to this master's student and collaborate and develop that project. And then I also got opportunities to do the same thing at Wollongong. I didn't get to travel there, but it was just really great experience to learn how to set projects up and see kind of the life cycle of research. And eventually I started getting trained to work with participants. So something that I unfortunately can't do at the moment, but did at the very start of the year and at the end of last year was work with participants. And so I was running sessions with them. I was prepping them for the MRI, just doing the check of like, do you have any medals on you? And it's just been really great to develop like my interpersonal skills, my skills of working with different students, different people of different experiences. And overall, I think it's really given me the opportunity to see what I'm interested in. And it's what helped me decide that I want to go into research.
Okay, thank you very much, Denny. I appreciate that. Another question, is there any program to support students to go into the workforce? So as part of our undergraduate degree, we have a unit, it's just a community engagement unit, where students do work experience in the psychology area. And also in that unit, we get students to develop their CVs. We also have an assignment where students look at different career paths they can take with an undergraduate psychology degree. And so one of their assignments is going out and finding jobs that they're eligible to apply for and then presenting those to different students, because after psychology, a lot of students go on to become psychologists, and that involves further studies in psychology. But many of our students decide that after 3 years, they want some time out in the workforce. And so that unit is designed to give students, A, some work experience to put on their CV, 2, a CV, and then some experience finding those different job opportunities that are available to students. Now, again, sorry, I keep on throwing to Denny at this point, but Denny did that unit. So I just wondered, Denny, if you could talk briefly about how you found that unit, whether you found it valuable or not. So I'll throw to you.
Yeah, for sure. I did that unit second semester of last year, and I remember it was just a really nice space to get a bit of support, because we're all nearing the end of our degrees. And so to find out about what we can do with a psych degree, just at the bachelor's level, to work on my CV, to hear from guest presenters, people in the field, it was all really, really beneficial and kind of gave me that little bit of extra comfort. I guess in the worst case scenario, which was for me personally, like not getting into honours. So I felt very prepared, and we also had a really fantastic lecturer who had great connections, who was willing to put us in touch with previous students, with people in different workplaces and industries. So I found it really, really beneficial, and I still use, the CV that I developed then. I, use the same kind of format and advice that I was given in that unit.
Thank you very much, Denny. The next question is, how long do the courses go for? So our Bachelor of Psychological Science is a 3-year degree. If you're doing a double degree with the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Exercise Science, or the Bachelor of Commerce, those are 4-year degrees. If you're doing the Bachelor of Psychological Science, Bachelor of Laws, that's a 5-year degree. If you're doing the Bachelor of Psychology Honours, that's a 4-year degree, but it's also including the next level of qualifications. To become a psychologist, there's several levels of qualifications that you need to do. So a level 1 qualification is a bachelor degree in psychology. The next level of qualification, level 2, is often called the 4th year or honours in psychology. And then we go on to the masters, which is levels 3 and 4. Now, the double degrees in the Bachelor of Psychological Science give you the first level of qualifications, when the Bachelor of Psychology, Bachelor of Honours gives you levels 1 and level 2 qualifications. So that was a long answer to how long did the courses go for. But I'll move on to the next one. How do I choose between the Bachelor of Psychological Science and the Bachelor of Arts with a major in psychology? That's a great question. Thank you for that one. This is one where a lot of people get very confused about. To become a psychologist, you need to be studying an APAC accredited course. So APAC accreditation refers to the Australian Australian Psychological Accreditation Council. So if you want to become a psychologist, you have to be doing an APAC accredited courses to get those level 1, 2 and 3 and so on qualifications. Now, our Bachelor of Psychological Science course, along with the double degrees, which I just listed, along with the Bachelor of Psychology Honours, are all APAC accredited. Now, you can do a psychology major in the Bachelor of Arts. However, it's not APAC accredited. So if you decided that you love psychology and you wanted to go on and be a psychologist, you wouldn't be able to from doing a Bachelor of Arts. You can also find psychology majors in other courses such as commerce and so on. So regardless of what university you're looking at, when you're going around looking at all the different courses, a lot of courses will say that they offer a major in psychology, and that's fine. But if you want to keep that option open of becoming a psychologist, please make sure that you're doing an APAC accredited course. So at ACU, you can do a major in psychology for the arts, but it's not APAC accredited. The courses that we've been talking about today are all APAC accredited. So I hope that answers your question. Moving to sorry, John, can you throw me a question, please?
Yeah, Helen, we've had a great question, which is, what's the difference between our psychology programs here at ACU and other universities such as Melbourne, RMIT, etc.?
Okay, so I think as the students have been, our previous students have been talking about today, one of the advantages is this face-to-face contacts that our students get. So I'm often told by students that they love the interactions that they get with the staff, that they're able to come and ask for help when they need it. We've got smaller class sizes, and so the students get to know each other very well, and we get a lot of students helping each other, forming study groups and helping each other, but that interaction with the staff seems to be missing from other universities. So I do get students transferring from other universities to ACU, and I ask them why they're transferring, and they tell me that they have friends here, and the friends tell them that they can get the help when they need it. At a larger university, it can be more difficult getting that one-on-one time with the lecturers. And I think I'll throw to Olivia because she was speaking a bit about that before. Olivia, have you got anything else to say about that?
Yeah, I would just say as well as getting that help, I feel that the relationships are really genuine. Like those teachers really want you to succeed. They want to help you. Like even though I completed the course last year, I'm still in contact with my supervisor. You know, I'm still working with them and publishing work that I completed as part of my honours. So I feel like it's, you know, the support's there, but it's also really genuine support. And I feel like I could, you know, rely on them to give me a reference or to help me, or if I had questions about my career or different things that were going on, like I could still reach out, and I've got like a really great relationship with several staff, you know, from my studies. So I think that was also really nice, that support, but knowing that it's also genuine and that they actually, you know, care about me and my well-being as well as, you know, my academic performance.
Okay, thank you very. Oh, Yes, I've got my microphone on, sorry. Thank you very much, Olivia. We've got a question here is, did the electives and placement program help you decide what areas of psychology you wanted to specialise in? I'd like to specialise in child and developmental. So I thought maybe you, Olivia, first, if you might have something to say about what helped you decide in what you wanted to specialise in?
Yeah, so there's definitely, you learn a lot more about the, different streams that you can go down. We had a lot of people come and talk to us, former students who had gone off, like we had an organisational psych, a clinical psych, an ed and dev psych. So, we had access to former students who'd gone down different pathways. So that was really helpful. Again, like they were more than willing to keep conversations going after we'd spoken to them during class time. So that was good. And just learning different, like I suppose, picking up on different things from, staff, from students, was helpful. And the encouragement to go and do some different work experience. And I think like Dinny, like I definitely want to do, like I came into it thinking I wanted to be a practicing psychologist and, wasn't that keen on research before, but now it's definitely something that's, of great interest to me. I've just published my first paper and that's something that I definitely want to keep doing. So the clinical masters is what appeals to me because it's got a larger research component, but I can also, have one foot in research and then one foot in clinical practice. So they're things that I think you work out along the way, and just getting, work experience and also just engaging with as many people as you can who work and practice in the field.
Great, thank you so much, Olivia. We've got a couple of questions related to the double degrees. So as I said before, the double degrees with Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Exercise Science and the Bachelor of Arts, they're all 4-year degrees. The double degree with the Bachelor of Laws is a 5-year degree. Now, how these courses look is pretty much half the units are related to the psychology course and the other half of the units are related to the other degree. So for instance, half are psychology and half are exercise science. At the end of that degree, this opens up a lot of opportunities to students. So for instance, if I focus on exercise science to begin with, doing the double degree with psychology and exercise science, at the end of that, the student is capable of going on and doing further studies in psychology. They're capable of going on and doing further studies in exercise science. And so what we find is some of the students find that they want to focus on psychology, but they have psychology with a sporting flavour. So for instance, they go on to the areas of sports psychology. When they go down the path of exercise science for further studies, then again, they tend to have that psychology focus within their further studies down exercise science. A lot of students actually stop studying at this point and don't go on to further studies, but then they've got 2 areas to draw on to find jobs. So I'm actually, sorry, Olivia, I'm going to throw to you again. I haven't spoken to you about this, but you did do some work with AFL. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I was employed in a contract role as a wellbeing coordinator, so looking after the players both on and off the field and working with them and their families. I was working for the NAB League, which is the under 18, like a feeder club to the AFL. And yeah, I felt like the course really prepared me for that. It was, just making sure that they're, feeling as good as they can be, that they're feeling really supported. So, if they needed extra help, like I obviously can't provide, I'm not a registered psychologist, but, managing referrals for them and getting them that support and then just giving them more general support to get them through. So yeah, that was a really great experience and I learned a lot from it. you know, just that relationship building with people, making sure they felt really comfortable, supported, and yeah, obviously making sure that the safeguarding, given that they're minors. So there's definitely a lot that I drew on from my studies, and then a lot that I learned on the job.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, John, I've been keeping an eye on the chat, but is there questions that I haven't, that we haven't addressed yet?
Yeah, so one great question that's come through is about the prerequisites required for the Bachelor of Psychological Science.
Okay, I'll take that. So the prerequisites, so for New South Wales, it's English Standard Band 3 or English as an additional language Band 4. So I must say I'm a Victorian and that doesn't make sense to me, but I'm hoping that makes sense to people in New South Wales. Now, as a Victorian, also the secondary school system's changed a lot since I studied, so this doesn't make sense as well. But for Victoria, it's units 3 and 4 and a study score of at least 30 in English EAL, or at least 25 in English other than EA. Now, the ATAR scores, we can only give you the ATAR scores from last year because we can never predict what the ATAR scores are going to be for the coming year. But the ATAR scores tend to be pretty consistent. So I'll just cover the ATAR scores. So for the Bachelor of Psychological Science and for the Bachelor, the double degrees with Commerce, Arts and Exercise Science, we're all sitting around the 58.5 mark. The Bachelor of Psychology Honours, this course is much harder to get into and the ATAR is sitting around 85 for this course. So remember, that's the course that gives you the level 1 and level 2 qualifications at once. The Bachelor of Psychological Science, Bachelor of Laws is sitting at around 75 and that's consistent across both the Melbourne and New South Wales ATAR scores. So hopefully that's cleared it up. John, is there any other questions? We're nearly coming to an end now. I see that. So if there's any last questions.
Yeah, so there's some great questions about the benefits of you know, doing the combined courses. So for example, Carla has asked if I was to do the double degree of psychological science, sports and exercise science, how many years is that, and what other pathways, you know, could this take me on the psychology side of things?
Okay, so that is a 4-year degree, the Bachelor of Psych Science, Bachelor of Exercise Science. It opens up the pathways to becoming a psychologist. It opens up the pathways of doing further studies in exercise science, but it also gives you the option of leaving at that point, but having that strong basis in both psychology and exercise science. So some people, as I said before, might be interested in going down this path because of forensic because of sports and exercise psychology. But that's not necessary to go down this path. We could go down that path with the Bachelor of Psychological and Psychological Science only, but this will give you maybe an edge compared to some other students. Okay, so we're nearly wrapping up now. Is any last points from our panel? Dini, have you got any last quick words to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the topic of statistics classes. So I know that this is something that a lot of people who want to go into psychology either aren't aware of or are a bit nervous about. So I guess if you haven't learnt yet, there is quite a emphasis on statistics in psychology, and you will take a few classes throughout your undergrad. And a lot of people are really nervous for those, but I just want to emphasize that, you know, you do a few different units and each one builds on the last, and you're never unsupported in those. The first unit, it's really, really nice introduction. If you're doing, if you're in Victoria and doing something like further math, those, basics of just calculating a mean and a standard deviation, those, will get covered for you and revised. And there's a lot of assignments and weekly activities that'll really help you get to know the content and get comfortable with it. So I guess it's okay to be nervous about it, but just be aware that it's a wonderful program and you'll get so much support and you might turn out to love it like I do.
Thank you so much, Denny. That's a really nice thing to hear from our students. So we've reached the end of our presentation time now. So I'd like to thank everyone so much for taking this time on Saturday morning to come and hear us speak. I hope we've answered your questions. If we haven't, please remember that the open day is running this week and for the next 2 weeks as well. We have these Zoom sessions where you can attend and have a one-on-one chat with one of our staff members that can answer your questions, or you can also contact Ask ACU and submit your questions there, and then somebody will be in contact with an answer. So enjoy the rest of your day, spend some time going through our website, and thank you very much for attending.